You can call me Mystic Mike because I predict these things.
Curtis Blaydes takes on Rizvan Kuniev this Saturday on the main card of UFC 313. And this is going to be an interesting matchup between these two guys. Very similar styles, both very big for heavyweight. Curtis Blaydes, 6'4", 80-inch reach, about 256 pounds. Rizvan Kuniev, 6'4" as well, 76-inch reach, 263 pounds. So Curtis Blaydes going to have a 4-inch reach advantage against him. Curtis Blaydes been in the UFC for a while now. Back to 2016, very good wrestler. Decent striking with power. You know, he's got a good jab, got good calf kicks. He's going to look to get the fight to the ground, though. Rizvan Kuniev making his UFC debut, coming off of a win on Dana White's Contender Series over Hugo Cunha. Very impressive performance that he had in that fight. Dude throws with a lot of heat. There was a lot of leather. I think he TKO'd this guy against the cage at the very end of the round, landed a nasty elbow to put him out. So Curtis Blaydes, coming off of a loss to Tom Aspinall back in July, lost at the 1 minute mark of round one. So not a lot that we could really gain from that fight and understanding kind of where he stands. But his fight before that against Jailton Almeida was able to somewhat defend takedowns the first round. Got taken down, was up against the fence. Jailton Almeida, I think he technically had like 9 takedowns, but really didn't do anything with it. And then Blaydes came out in the second round and was able to TKO him against the fence with elbows. Before that, got knocked out by Sergey Pavlovich. So it's kind of, he's in a weird spot, Curtis Blaydes. Like he lost to Tom Aspinall, Sergey Pavlovich. Like those guys are top tier guys. Jailton Almeida, I'm still not convinced of the guy. He's kind of a one trick pony, just does it very well, and a lot of heavyweights can't grapple. And you know, you run up against somebody who can grapple like Curtis Blaydes and who's tough and will actually throw punches, he gets beat. So I go back to the Tom Aspinall fight, won it in 15 seconds due to a knee injury, beats Chris Daukaus, who ended up not being the best guy in the UFC. Decision, Jairzinho Rozenstruik, lost to Derek Lewis. So I'm just very unconvinced on Curtis Blaydes at this point in his career. He's a favorite in this fight at minus 300, but I'm going to go with Rizvan Kuniev. I feel like Rizvan Kuniev, big dude, about the same size, not concerned about the reach disadvantage that he's going to have against Curtis Blaydes. I think that he's going to be able to get underneath Curtis Blaydes' punches and his reach and just land his own strikes. He's a very aggressive guy on the feet. I've seen some of his footage. Not afraid to throw hands at heavyweights, not really afraid of what's coming back at him. Had a nasty win against Hugo Cunha, like I said. Before that was in the PFL, beat Renan Ferreira, who's like their big star before he got put out by Francis Ngannou recently. Was able to hang with him on the feet. I think he hurt it. I think it was the first round, but he definitely hurt him. Was able to get his takedowns, kind of beat him up, win a 3-round decision. Ended up being overturned because he did test positive for steroids. He tested positive for drostanolone, metinolone, boldenone, norandrosterone, anything with a known, you name it, this guy was taking it. And it's just funny that right after that happens, the UFC just kind of, you know, ignores it and gives him a shot on the Contender Series just because UFC's corrupt. But as spineless and corrupt as they are, I'm not shocked that they signed him to Dana White's Contender Series and then to the UFC. But he's a Dagestani wrestler with powerful striking. I feel like everything that Curtis Blaydes does well, he's going to be able to do the same, if not a little bit better. I think he's got a little bit more power. I think he's more of a dog than Curtis Blaydes. Just as of late, Curtis Blaydes just kind of looks like he crumbles. I don't think he's going to be able to out-wrestle this guy. I don't think he's going to put him out on the feet. This guy hasn't lost since 2015. So coming up on 10 years unbeaten streak for this guy. I don't understand why he's such a big underdog. Maybe it's just because he's making his UFC debut against such a talented guy like Curtis Blaydes, but there's a reason they're giving him Curtis Blaydes in his UFC debut, and I think that's because, you know, they expect big things from this guy. He's not just one of your fat, out of shape, obese heavyweights. This guy's got legit skills. He fights out of Goret's fight gym out of Dagestan, Russia. He's not affiliated with Khabib and those guys, but a bunch of just absolute killers in this gym. You know, a bunch of guys 18-1, 18-7, you know, 14-3, just tons of really good guys out in Russia. And there's tons of guys just like this guy out there that are fighting for, you know, KSW and these other promotions over there in Russia, not making the jump over to the UFC. But I do think he gets this done. I think he puts Curtis Blaydes out. I think he defends his takedowns. I think he lands the bigger punches on the feet, and I think that if he gets him on the ground, he'll beat him up there and TKO him on the ground. So picking him as the dog, Curtis Blaydes, minus 330 favorite. Rizvan Kuniev, plus 250 underdog. So good underdog. I think he gets this one done. Curtis Blaydes hasn't fought since July. Rizvan Kuniev fought in August, so roughly the same time frame. But Curtis Blaydes did get knocked out. Kuniev coming off of knocking somebody else out, never been finished by strikes, so trust his chin. I don't trust Curtis Blaydes' chin. He's been chinned twice in the last 3 fights. Chinned by Derek Lewis before that, chinned by Francis Ngannou before that. So gonna go with Kuniev with the KO upset in this one. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think I'm crazy, but I feel like he's a very solid underdog. Thanks.